Gundam enthusiasts, welcome to round 1 of Tuesday, December 16th, Gundam card game night over at Bulldog Community Gaming, LLC. If you guys are looking for a place to play some Gundam card game action, check out Bulldog Community Gaming, LLC in Brownsburg, Indiana. Tuesday nights, 6:30, $5 entry. As well as if you guys can't come to the Gundam card game action, make sure to check the action live as it is happening Tuesday nights, 6:30. Links are down in the description below to Bulldog's Twitch and Facebook page. Well, folks, for this round 1, let's see what we got. I know over here, 100%, they are playing Justice Blockers, the white-red strategy. So we'll have to see what our opponent over here on the left is doing, as they are also going second. So without further ado, who will claim victory? Let's find out. So anyways, both our players are officially ready to go right now. So it looks like we got blue-red on the left side. Maybe blue-red cyber new type. That is a very good deck. Back, of course, in set 1 there, as we see, not the best starting hand out here. We're going to go for a gun cannon. Gun cannon with really no good effect there, because nothing really too ping there. As we see, the right side player is going to flip over 1 resource here. And again, the whole Justice Blocker deck is all about Justice Gundam and then putting out all of your blockers that you know and the love in the color of white. Now, of course, I don't think many decks even play Freedom, but I wouldn't really play Freedom. I know you could probably put Freedom, but the namesake of the deck really is the Justice Gundam, as we see put down for another gun tank, and then a 𝐒𝐍𝐶 or a 𝐒𝐓𝐃𝐄. No, it's a 𝐒𝐍𝐿 𝐒𝐿. That's basically the alternate timeline, I think, from the 𝐒𝐄𝐄 era timeline, but it's a 𝐒𝐿 here. Of course, 2/2. So again, most of what we've seen with a red-blue strategy, mostly you just spam out little bodies and then you just kind of go crazy from there. Of course, now we have the 𝐕𝐃 trying to protect our base here and our shields here as well. But we do know the left side player does have an armor array, as we also have the Marita Cruz, which is pretty nice. Again, the armor array is only a pair that you can risk something that has 5 or less HP attached to it. So again, kind of an interesting thing. I know people still wish that had been a win-linked effect rather than a win-paired effect. Now, again, thanks to having them going second, they are able to play the armor array here early, so they're immediately going to direct the rest of the 𝐕𝐈𝐃𝐄. They're going to go into for the EX base, immediately knocking that out, and they're going to go for a gun tank, whether or not we decide to go for it. So gun tank into the shield. We're going to flip 1. No burst, so overwhelming affection, not something you ever want to see out of there. I wish that had a burst. And then knock Rick DS out of the shields as well. And then we're immediately going to then tap, of course, another 2 here. We're then going to go for the 𝐒𝐲 to ping 1 on the Rick 𝐕𝐈𝐃𝐄 as well, which is pretty nice. And then that will pretty much just conclude that side of the game there. Again, red-blue ping. It looks to be red-blue ping. I would guess it's cyber new type with all that, because we've seen the Marita Cruz. We know there's Kasatra in here. This is very similar to what red-blue ping back in the day was doing with cyber new type. I'm not sure if there's Qubeleys in the Qubeley in here or anything like that. Or the Quibble. Or no, Qubeley is the actual name of it. I don't know why I keep calling Quibble, but it's a Qubeley. I'm not sure if they're playing that one. For the fact that we know we're armor arrays in here. I mean, if you're playing blue, why would you play armor array? And again, we really haven't seen much from the Justice Blocker side of the board just yet. We really haven't seen like a lot of blockers appear up on the board or anything like that. Again, once again, we are looking to, of course, do all that. So anyways, we're going to go for a trade out between the 𝐒𝐿 and the Rick 𝐕𝐈𝐃𝐄 here, because it's already damaged. We know for a fact that the 𝐒𝐲 trades into it anyways as well. So we're going to pay for 2 here, and we're going to put out a Rift. And then I believe I did see another Rift in there as well. We're going to pay for another one. Oh, and then we're going to pay for the Rick 𝐕𝐈𝐃𝐄. Again, really good when the Rick 𝐕𝐈𝐃𝐄 first dropped into the format from set 2. It really became one of those staple blockers everyone was running 100% here. The problem now is that we have 2 blockers, one of which can kill the 𝐒𝐲 instantaneously in the Rick 𝐕𝐈𝐃𝐄, though that would be a trade out between each other here, where you could instead do the Rift and then trade out with the 𝐒𝐲 instead. And not really a great hand here between that. So we're just going to go for the Show Resolve to draw 2. Ooh, yeah. That's not too bad there for the Koska base. The fact is we don't have enough resources to pay for it. We could go for the mining base here, attempt to maybe pick up our top shield and see if maybe one more extra draw might help us in for the future game, like seeing the Kasatra or anything like that, to help with that Marita Cruz we have in the hand. Or, of course, we can drop a 𝐵𝐔𝐾 as well to see whether or not we want to do anything with that as well. So right now, we're going to go for the Anxia Swing. So we are going to trade out with the Rift instead of the Rick Dias instead of trading out with the Rift and having the Rift survive with 1 health. But that does mean that with that 1 single health point, we could drop like another gun tank down and kill the Rift, causing our opponent to go down to 1 body. And again, another reason why a lot of people like the Rick Dias as well as it's a body that can swing. Before, we used to use the 2/2 Zord, level 2 cost Zord, but the Zord couldn't attack our opponent. And yes, it was a 3/2, which is nice because it could trade out with all the 3 health bodies our opponent could span out. But the problem is, it couldn't swing on our opponent, so it was a useless body on the board that only was there to swing on our opponent's rested mobile suits or just sit there to be defending. With the Rick Dias being 3 health and could swing, it could knock out EX bases if our opponent doesn't have bodies, or in some cases, if you have more blockers, you can then swing it into your opponent's EX base and knock it out, and then still have blockers necessary to defend yourself here. Now, the problem we're seeing here is that, again, in the Cyber New type strategy, you do spam out bodies, but unfortunately, as we see there, we're going to go for the close combat to kill off a 𝐵𝐔𝐾 so we don't have to worry about the bodies, and we're just immediately going to go for close combat, immediately killing that, and we're immediately going to go for the base that you could tap it to give one of your guys an extra AP here. Okay, so that was quite interesting. So we basically smashed through half of the board state using 2 close combats. All right, not a bad choice there. That is still a good card there. So anyways, we are going to trade out the base for the 𝐒𝐍𝐶 base. So we're going to take the top card of our body for our health, and then maybe we're going to be able to put out the 4/2 Talgies. A really good card there. Then immediately be able to trade out with the lift next turn. It looked like we only drew into a Hammond. Oh, okay, so they are running Qubeley in this deck strategy as well. So it's red-blue Qubeley. So that's pretty cool. So it's a red-blue ping strategy, but we're running Qubeley and 𝐒𝐍𝐶 in it as well. So that's pretty cool. We're going to go for the 𝐿 strike, and then we're going to have to bounce something. It's always going to be the Talgies because the Talgies actually doesn't go back to our opponent's hand off of the 𝐿 strike here. So we're going to bounce back the Talgies off the 𝐿 strike. Again, we could swing the 𝐿 strike into the 𝐒𝐍𝐶 base, knock it out off the board. Stayed here because we know for a fact that Rift can block out one of the gun tanks, and because we have the extra AP base on the board right now, there's not much else we can do. And again, right now, like the only real target I think for Kira is the 𝐿 strike. I don't think any real justice blockers are really throwing down like Freedom. You might throw down Freedom like maybe the 1 or 2 of. I know for a fact that in Epyon blockers, you're running a couple of Freedoms because Epyon is your back in line and most of your deck is blocker heavy, and then you just run Epyon to be like that kill all strategy, not mentioning you of course run Armor Array to of course rest stuff as well. So we have a pretty good little hand there. We did get an Armor Array, it looks like, from the draw 2 off of the overflowing Show of Resolve there. We do have the OG Papa Gundam Man as well. We have the OG. I like the OG Papa Gundam Man as well. That can, of course, trade out with the 𝐿 strike here because it does give an additional AP to everything as well. So technically, you could trade out the entire board state here. So we're going to go for the mining base as well to take another card on top of our deck. Ooh, a 𝐒𝐍𝐶. That's not too bad. That really does work with the Merida Cruz as well because that 𝐒𝐍𝐶 just needs Merida Cruz to tie to it. And Merida Cruz does get its ping ability as well because it's linked to a unit, especially that little 𝐒𝐶. So that's pretty cool. Also, that's the all art from the promo pack. So we're not going to go for anything. Okay, so we're just going to go mining base, which makes sense. That was all we really did. Okay, right. Show of Resolve. Overflowing Affection was 3, and then we paid an extra 1. So we really don't have much else to go from there. I guess we could have put out the little 𝐒𝐶. Maybe that might have been a choice there to put it out just to have the body out there. But I guess the aspect is we still do have the ability to play it next turn and still link the Merida to it to allow it to swing. We do have the 2 up. We also have the 2 resources up as well, so we do have the close combat trigger we could trigger on our opponent as well. So in response to something attacking or something coming in, we can of course go for that. Oh, the Sananju with full frontal coming down as well. That is pretty nasty. We're gonna go for the 𝐿 strike. 𝐿 strike does have the 6 there. It can give something -2, but that is going to be enough to kill off the mighty base. We're going to go for the Sananju. Sananju is going to affect the Sananju to deal 2 damage to a gun tank, because as long as it hits something out of the shields, it can do 2 damage to one of your opponent's units. And right now, it does have that full frontal, which is really nice. And by the way, during pair, it always has high maneuver, which is nasty. Well, I think that they need some kind of like eject method for removing like pilots off of mobile suits would be pretty cool. But I don't think it'd be the best. I don't know if it'd be a good card or not, but still. So anyways, we're at the end of the, before our opponent passes the turn, we are going to go for hitting the Sananju with the 2 damage from the close combat there. Which is pretty nice there, allowing us to, of course, swing into the Sananju if need be with, say, that 𝐒𝐓𝐾 attached to the Merida Cruise, and then going the Gundam as well. That's why I would have said maybe we should have put down the 𝐒𝐓𝐾, but you really didn't know what your opponent was playing down at that turn, because right now it might be really tight to actually play all of these mobile suits down this turn, and still maybe try to out the board state. I guess maybe your other options, of course, would be to still play OG Papa Gundam, have it kill over the 𝐿 and then that'd really be about it. Because the Sinanju will be too big for you. Otherwise, you'd have to go OG Papa Gundam into the Sinanju to remove it. So we're going to go for that. Unfortunately, we are one resource short from going into the... Oh, no, right. We actually have enough. Sorry, apologies. We actually have enough to go to the Merida Cruise Line as well. But this is going to be a full-on trade. We're going to have to trade against the big bodies. We just can't. We're going to have to use the OG to kill off the 𝐿, and we're going to have to use the 𝐒𝐲 to kill off the Sinanju. We can't let both of those guys stay on the board presence any longer than they already are. The Sinanju is already a greater threat to us than anything because of the fact that it does 2 damage every time it smashes over shield, and because it has high maneuver, there's no way for a blocker to block it. So I mean, that 2 damage is a constant threat that you have to deal with. And this is a 7/6, by the way, because of full frontals +2/+2. But yeah, I also like it that Sinanju is just a during pair, not a link unit. So any pilot on a Sinanju is just lethal to it. So anyway, we're going to go little 𝐒𝐲𝐶, then we're going to put it on the Merida Cruise here. We are going to be able to ping when we swing on the attack, unlike big 𝐒𝐲𝐶, where we could ping immediately on the attack, which would be really nice there. So the ping will definitely be going to do the 𝐿, because again, it has to be the exact level less than or equal to whatever Merida Cruise is linked to. In this case, the 𝐒𝐲𝐶 is a level 4, so only ping the 𝐿 for 1 damage. So we're immediately going to go for the Sinanju. We're going to ping the 𝐿 with Merida's effect, and we're immediately going to trade out Sinanju with the 𝐒𝐲𝐶, which there is probably a really good trade there. Just get that thing off the board immediately, and we can, like I said, it's either trade OG Papa Gundam into the 𝐿 or kill off the 𝐿 and then take the 2 damage back. So we're deciding to just go for the 𝐿 here just to remove it off of the board. Say, maybe you could have swung with the gun tank and then done 2 damage or your opponent's base just to have it removed off the board there, or at least do 2 damage to it, because you did get the extra AP there from the pair up from OG Papa Gundam. But yeah, that was one choice that you could easily have done, as well as we're going to go for a Launcher Strike Gundam 3/4 blocker. We're going to go for Justice Gundam. Again, on play didn't make the blocker token thing. I don't even know the Phanorem or OO token. So anyways, oh, big 𝐒𝐲𝐶. Ooh, that does suck when you see big 𝐒𝐲𝐶. But yeah, also Athen is, of course, it's a link here. We're going to go for the mining base. We're going to draw 1, and it looked like we got a little 𝐒𝐲𝐶, but unfortunately, the Hammond is not the link for the little 𝐒𝐲𝐶. And then that's not going to be enough, because Hammond on pair can deal 1 damage to a unit, but that's still not going to really be enough. So as we go for little 𝐒𝐲𝐶, we could put out the 𝐿𝐷, can attach the Hammond if we really want to. There's not really much else we can really do. So we're going to put out the 𝐿𝐷, we're going to pass and pray and hope we hit a Qubeley that we can use for that Hammond right there. Otherwise, this base is dying. This base is straight up dying, and you better pray and hope that last card in your resources is a base as well. Because technically, the Justice, it's going to take 2 guys to knock out the base, by the way, because it's a 6 health base, unless Justice gets attached. Well, we're just going to go for the Justice Gun, and we're going to go for the little blocker token. We're going to hit, and that is a Battle of Aces, and that's immediately going to be able to do 2 damage to 𝐿, but it's not going to matter. That is game then and there. Battle Aces deals 2 damage to a unit, but unfortunately, Battle Aces coming out of the hand is really nice. It could have removed that 𝐿 off of the board so that you'd only have to worry about technically not fully dying, but the problem is, unless you saw a Qubeley to help you in the end game, there wasn't much you could be able to do here. You were dead on the board state either way. So, Justice Blockers, white-red Justice Blockers, takes the win against blue-red Qubeley, or blue-red ping, depending on however you want to say it. But I want your guys' thoughts down in the comments on this Gundam action. Let me know how the players could have done better. Let me know if I missed anything in the replay. Let me know what your thoughts are on both of these decks. And while you're commenting, do make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell so you know when my videos go live for you. And we'll see you next time. I'm on Dragons TCG.